With a little luck, I managed to get my hands on an iPhone 14 Pro in space black on release day. Today I will unbox the new iPhone, show you what's in the box and take a first look. At the end we'll take a look at the display, the new notch, so dynamic island, and the always on display. For comparison, I have the iPhone 13 Pro in Graphite here. As you'll see in a moment, the new space black color is quite different from the previous Graphite color. Good, so let's open up the box. I bought this iPhone today in a retail store. In the Apple online store, the delivery time had long since slipped to October. Actually, this iPhone was in the showcase. It was the only one in space black that was in stock. That's why you see this label on the screen protector. But we'll remove the screen protector right now anyway. Looking at the back is a bit more interesting than looking at the black display. The space black color is a bit darker than the previous Graphite. Here is the iPhone 13 Pro for comparison. First and foremost, I would say that the color of the iPhone 13 Pro reflects light a bit more, so maybe this comparison here is a bit misleading, also because the light here is coming from the top right, but I'll put the two smartphones next to each other in a moment. If we look at the frame, we notice that it has also become significantly darker. While the frame of the iPhone 13 Pro looks more like silver or classic stainless steel in the right light, the new color looks more like a glossy black. What is nicer here is of course a matter of taste. Maybe the new color looks a bit cooler. Fingerprints and tappers can be seen very well on both iPhones. In terms of weight, both iPhones feel similar, with the 13 Pro seeming a bit heavier, but the difference is hardly noticeable. Now I put both iPhones on the table. As I said, the light comes from the right and you can see how much brighter the 13 Pro looks and how much more light it reflects. That's why I changed the position again. Now the colors look very similar. Interesting. It's true that the camera bump has gotten a bit bigger, where the difference is not so much the larger size of the new camera bump, but rather the fact that the lenses protrude even further. Let's take another look at the new notch. In the right light, you can see that it is still two cutouts and not a single one. This is then hidden behind the new dynamic island when turned on. Let's take a look at what else is in the box. Here we have a Lightning to USB-C connection cable. As I'm sure you know, the EU and also other countries are pushing very hard for a unified standard for charging cables. Maybe that's why we'll see an iPhone with USB-C for the first time next year. This year we'll still have to make do with the connection cable. Since I live in Italy, this iPhone still has a physical SIM card slot. So here we have the usual tool to open the SIM card slot. Then we have the usual paperwork here and as usual another Apple sticker. So the box only contains the bare minimum, which is absolutely fine for me in this case. I don't need another charger or another cable. Now I quickly attach a screen protector. With my iPhone 13 Pro, I made the mistake of waiting 2 weeks to properly test the 120Hz display. That was enough to cause a small scratch in the display, which was very annoying, even though I still don't know how it happened. After all, the iPhone is supposed to have a particularly scratch-resistant display glass. I use a frame to attach it. This screen protector is actually from last year and I bought it for the iPhone 13 Pro. However, it still seems to fit the 14 Pro without any problems. You can find links to screen protectors and other accessories for the iPhone 13 Pro in the video description. Now I insert my SIM card and then it's time to turn on the new iPhone. As usual, we are greeted in all kinds of languages. Then I have to unlock my SIM card. And now you can speed up the whole setup process by taking the old iPhone to help. To do this, you have to center this futuristic looking ball with the camera. Now you have to enter the passcode of the old iPhone and indeed the whole process then takes a few minutes. The iPhone then reports back with the setup for Face ID. You can now basically transfer all the data from your old iPhone. I decide it's better not to transfer the apps and data. I prefer to do a real reboot with the new 14 Pro. That way apps and generated data that are no longer useful are not transferred. Now it's about the credit card and Apple Wallet. I don't really want to share my data with Apple. And now we can finally get started. The iPhone starts with a relatively dark wallpaper. I would now like to compare the display with the display of the 13 Pro. Here you can see a comparison between the new dynamic island and the old notch. As expected, there is little difference in the size of the usable display. That is at least the case with the regular iPhone 14 Pro. On the Macs, the advantage might be a bit bigger. For a better comparison of the two displays, it is probably better if I select the same wallpaper for both smartphones and then set the brightness to maximum. So here you can now see a direct comparison between the two displays. When I don't touch the display, both iPhones activate the lock screen. Whereas the 13 Pro goes completely black, the 14 Pro now shows the date and time due to the new Always On feature. Well, I will now test the iPhone 14 Pro extensively and especially look at the cameras more closely and compare them with the 13 Pro. So give me a like as feedback if the video was interesting for you. There will be tests and tutorials on the iPhone 14 Pro soon. So stay tuned and see you next time.